Call the meeting to order at 5:30, and we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance led by Director Gore.
Please join me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. If the clerk would call the roll.
Director Gore,
Here.
Director Reedy,
Here.
Director Landon,
Here.
Director Haudeshelt,
Wow, perfect. I'm here.
Chair Halden.
Here. All right. Thank you. If you would give us the statement of meeting procedures.
Welcome to the Western Placer Waste Management Authority meeting of May 14th, 2026. Agendas are available on the table outside this meeting room. If you are here to speak on a matter not on the agenda, you may do so during public comment. The board is not permitted to take action on items addressed under public comment. All items on the agenda will be open to the public to address before final action is taken. Accessibility information is provided on the meeting agenda. Please turn off or put in silent mode all cell phones and other electronic devices. Thank you for your participation.
All right. Thank you very much. Our next item is public comment. This is a time when people may address the board regarding items not on today's agenda. It's requested the comments be brief since the board is not permitted to take any action on items addressed under public comment. Is there anybody who would like to make a comment at this time? Okay. Seeing none, we will move to item 6 and start with the report from the general manager.
All right. Thank you, Chair Halden. Just a couple of things to report on. We held our semi-annual trash bash on April 25th. Thanks to Emily and all staff really are around working it. We had, I think, over 450 people attend. It was a really great event. Family fun, friendly event with Eric giving tours as a tour guide on the bus. It's a great time, so hopefully you guys can make it out to the next one. We opened a recruitment for a WATMA non-county assistant engineer yesterday, so we're excited about that, and we'll be looking forward to bringing someone in on Ryan's team so he can go on paternity leave and not have to worry about the place here. We passed our first CalRecycle SB 1383 audit. I believe last time we were in the middle of the audit. So that's the first one out of 4 that we need to pass. The next audit will be at the end of June, I believe the 21st of June. So we're looking forward to getting that one under the belt, under our belt as well. Will, has come up with a good idea working with FCC to come up with a plan to give away compost to the public, to our customers, to anybody that wants to come in and get it. There's an excess of really good compost right now, so Will and Tony and Greg we're all going to work together to see what the best approach to do that is and how to communicate it to everybody out there. So that'll be a very good thing for all the customers. Yesterday was final thing, circular economy innovation competition. Thank you, Directors Reedy and Haudeshelt for being a part of it. It's always a successful event. Really trying to find the mesh between all these great companies and some that can fit real well with WATMA and take our material and we can partner with. And I think the winning company was Forager Fuels, and they deal with woody material in the forests or anywhere. It's a mobile unit that takes that and creates hydrogen and also biochar. I had a brief conversation with the winner. They're very excited about putting one of those units on site to test it. So hopefully we'll move that forward relatively quickly. He seemed very, very open to that idea. And that's it.
Okay. Can you just, on the mulch, do we have a time frame on doing that? And I know PCWA, and I think I just heard that Lincoln has a mulch event coming up. Yep. So do we know? What's that? Okay.
The only thing stopping us is the coordination and getting the word out. So hopefully that can be within a couple weeks. And we're looking at not a one-time event, but having the material on site where anybody can come in and just grab it, and then we just kind of keep filling up that bunker. So
Okay.
hopefully within a couple weeks to a month at the most, I think we should be able to put something together.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how does that factor into, like, do we get credit then for using this stuff, or?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think, talking with Tony and his team, working up at that direct service provider language so that we get procurement credit, definitely, since the customer would be the ones that are getting it, they are using it. So I think that's a good opportunity for their team to help satisfy that goal that we're working on every year. Definitely, I'm going to put together something really good, and in return something that our constituents liked for a long time now that we've been without. So really excited to work with them on this one.
Okay, great. Any other questions? Director Guar?
Thank you, and I would just say, utilize us to get the
Yes.
word out.
Yes.
Right, because our residents will be like, free mulch?
Yeah.
Absolutely, this time of year, great. So I think that's an excellent idea, thank you. Plus, you need to get rid of some of it off the landfill anyway, off the property, not the
Very true.
property, which is a win-win if it goes towards our, the
Procurement.
amount that we actually have to sell, right?
People always like it when we tell them about free stuff. So, any other questions?
Yeah, Chair Holden, I would just add, it was fascinating to participate in yesterday's circular economy competition. There were 200 applications, and 12 were chosen to present in a Shark Tank-like format yesterday. So you had a wide range of things from, the biomass to plastics, and very, very creative. So
And
200 though applied.
And you were Mark Cuban?
I was Mr. Wonderful.
Mr. Wonderful.
Yeah, Mr. Wonderful. Okay, all right, thank you. Okay. Next up, financial reports.
Yeah, so if you go to page 3, we have the budget to actuals here. These are budgets to actuals through March 31st, and we have the budget prorated to March for comparison. I have notes off to the side for each GL account indicating any significant or items of note for your ward. At this point in the year, a lot of the notes kind of get a little repetitive because we're getting close to the end here. So rather than just go through, the highlights, I'm just going to give you a bottom line. So for the total revenue, we have a favorable variance of 6.1%, and on the expense side, we also have a favorable variance of about 5.3%. May I answer any questions?
All right. Any questions?
Yeah, I do. I should have thought of this before now. But this spreadsheet format, there's tables in the back, and I think one of them is combined revenue. So this first chart, does that align up? Does that line up with what you're presenting right now, or no?
So, not exactly, because this is just year to date so this is just the budget to actuals of how we're doing so far this year. A lot of the tables in the back would be for our budget for next year.
He's looking at, I think, in the tipping, it's the tipping series.
Yeah,
It's the very
beyond
first one that
page
talks about
five.
revenue.
That'll bleed into my tonnage report.
Those are the tonnage
Oh,
report
right.
numbers.
Yeah, so those are the
But the
tonnage.
first one's revenue.
This
Yes.
one says combined revenue, and it is just for the fiscal year, so it's not.
Yes. Yes, so those should tie.
It should be the tip fee revenue line item. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, thank you. Any other questions on the financials? Okay. Monthly tonnage reports.
Good evening tonight, Chair, Board of Directors. Before you is the tonnage reports through the end of April. I want to run through a couple peaks and valleys that we're seeing here, kind of explain them out. The first one, you kind of see MSW trending lower. That's been since February. Then our projections where C&D has been trending higher, and a lot of that is due to FCC wanting those junk king loads that have historically been characterized as MSW with the new C&D plant and the new MRF, how they are, having those go over to C&D, which can better handle those kind of more bulkier, like cleanup type loads. So that's why I see MSW down, but C&D up. Second item I wanted to point out is the really high peak that you guys see for the sludge and mixed inerts tonnage, and that'd be predominantly the Caltrans cleanups that happen in the springtime as they clean up the roadways after the winter time, and you see it peaks and then drops down. So the third one is wood waste. Historically, it's a pretty competitive business out there for accepting wood waste, and when our competitors are online, our wood waste tonnage is down, and vice versa. And so while we were down in the month of April, as of May right now, we're tracking to be above, since Rio Bravo has been down for a while. So wood waste, you'll see, probably a little peak in May. And then the last item is green waste. Kind of had a weird March and April. No rain, lot of hot days in March led to a peak in March for green waste generation, and then a lower than average April, and that's because we had a lot of rain, a lot of cool temperatures. So that kind of explains why those didn't follow the trends. Other than that, I'd be happy to answer any other questions you may have on this one.
Any questions?
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
So thanks for pointing out, because I noticed the spike in sludge and mixed inert tonnage. If we were to go back last year and look at a snapshot like this, would we see that spike, or was there something unusual here?
Yeah, talking with Eric beforehand, that spike has been sustained for the past decade. Usually if we see anomalies, we don't count on them, but this has been a reoccurring item around this time of year that Caltrans, to accommodate their cleanups of the highways.
So it's all that litter and everything, right?
Yep, sand, roadway debris, tires, just a mixed bag of waste from the road.
Thank you.
All right. The next item is Renewable Placer Open House Update.
Thank you, Chair Halden. I'll take this one for Emily. She's not feeling well, so you've got the summary in your packet. I just want to hit a couple items here. Is that for many years the authority's been having an odor workshop for residents to talk about odors, and we've kind of transitioned and rebranded that to an open house format, so we can really talk more about the MRF and everything else that we do here, and not just focus only on odors. Still hit odors, quite strongly, but open it up to, a bigger event of what we're doing here. And so this year we had 65 members of the community show up, which was, I think, our record high for this kind of event. And it just amazes me that we can get 65 people of the community to come out in their evenings to spend the evening at the dump. So, I think it's a really good turnout. And it speaks a lot to the engagement that we've had with the community, that they're really interested in this facility, want to come here, want to learn, want to engage with us. And as Scott mentioned with Trash Bash, having 450 plus people show up on a Saturday to spend their time here, I think it speaks volumes to how the community views this facility. So with that, happy to answer any questions you may have.
Any questions? Nope. All right, great. Operator update. Good afternoon, Tony. Good afternoon. Yeah. All right.
Oh, wow. Check this out. All right. So good evening, everyone. As Scott mentioned, we are very excited that Q1 SB 1323 CalRecycle audit yielded an 82.1% recovery of the organics during that 10-day period. Differences in prior quarters is that we have partnered with Nothing Wasted Consultant to help us out through the process. Very proud of the staff, the efforts that Greg and the leadership team put together, partnered together, and then the lessons learned from prior. We weren't removing any of the sorters from the lines. In the past, several sorters were removed to do these audits. So having Nothing Wasted Consulting focus and specialize on the audits allowed us to tweak the system, make live movements during this 10-day process. And very excited that we have a good blueprint for success for the future for these results. As Scott mentioned, it is a rolling 4-quarter average. So the soonest that we'd be able to achieve success would be Q4 of this calendar year. The next audit, as Scott mentioned, would be June 21st. That would be for quarter 2. Quarter 4 is scheduled for October 19th. So sometime in late fourth quarter, we'll have the results, and pushing everything forward hopefully yields in the same successful audit. And then also very thrilled, Matt, who runs our compost operation, he had his first finished compost from MSW Organics. This material passed the Title 14 regulations that are required to move materials off-site. This material also counted for the DSP that we were discussing earlier to achieve the procurement. A total of about 90 tons of this material that was blended with some gold compost was sent off-site to a local farmer here within Placer County. So very, very excited about these results. As I mentioned, we have the blueprint for success in front of us as we continue to learn and tweak the systems and make these final adjustments. We look forward to coming back, continuing the successful relationship with the authority to continue to move this forward. If you have any questions, I've got a few of the members here available to answer any questions you may have.
Any questions from the directors? Yep.
My channel's on. Okay. So one, just gonna check in, still summer for substantial completion of construction.
Absolutely.
Okay. And update on the dryers.
The paper dryers, so those are currently waiting for us to do a repair of the paddles because we had turned them on without the proper air. The paddles got damaged, so we do have a game plan. We've got to train our team on the confined space and how to properly go in and execute the clean out and then the repairs. Then we're currently waiting on the final drawings so that we can submit for the fire marshal to get the proper clearance so that we can get these sprinkler systems installed in the, you might need to help me here, Ryan, on this, the camera for early detection so we can get that processed. So I would anticipate a few more months and then this will be cleared.
So when will it be online?
Or May, I'd say it's going to be very, very close to that July timeframe.
Oh, as well.
Yes.
Okay. Cool. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions?
Okay. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, facility projects update.
Thank you, Chair, and good evening, Board. So jumping right into the MRF improvements, we're just working pretty closely with FCC project staff to kind of monitor all of the punch list items that are remaining. And then we actually have received a first kind of rough draft of the MRF performance test plan. I assume that that's going to take probably a few revisions going back and forth and meetings and conversations to make sure that all parties' needs are met. And once we go through that commissioning, that it's a good indication of substantial completion of the MRF. So excited to start going through that and review it and provide comments. FCC completed a Firefly system that they added to the shredders in the receiving area. The system was commissioned and is working now, and that was actually installed back in March. Van Dyke is still installing the odor control equipment. At the time of writing this memo, the expected completion date was May 11th, but we're looking more at May 25th. So still on schedule for a May completion for all of the odor control equipment that you see outside there. The scale and scale house construction north of the new C&D facility is complete and tested, and we're working, diligently with FCC to determine scale opening and staffing timeline. We actually met with FCC today regarding the traffic flow plan using the new scale house. So we're hopefully pretty close to being able to get all of that working and under operation. Jumping to the liner investigation, we are still working with the consultant to get a final solution and mitigation in place to propose to the water board. We're kind of working with the water board to skip a few steps, skip the feasibility studies, and let's just move to the actual final solution proposal. Hopefully that speeds up the timeline and we can get this behind us. The SPWA compliance project, you guys approved that agreement back in February. We're now at the point where we have submitted a permitting package to Placer County, and the City of Roseville Environmental Utilities is also working to review these documents, and we've had meetings and conversations, and most parties are pretty much good to go with what we've submitted, and we're working to ensure that we have a construction start date of around June 1st. That would allow us to meet that final compliance date of October 26th of this year. And that would include 2 to 3 months of tuning the system and getting that working before that compliance date even hits. So looking forward to that starting next month. And we did complete another aerial survey since our last meeting. So I put this section back in here to kind of discuss the update. So the most recent evaluation was conducted on April 9th, and the projected dates have been modified according to those results. So again, we're using long-term waste stream growth predictions as well as the minimum material diversion requirements set forth in the MRF operating agreement, as well as the minimum compaction requirements found in the landfill operating agreement. At the very initial prediction, we determined that Module 6 would have disposal capacity for about 13 years. And after using these aerial analysis and trends, we have forecasted the following: that if landfill airspace consumptions continues at the current rate, Module 6 will be full within 9 years. That would be a 3.5-year reduction in operational life. And then if both the MSW and C&D guaranteed minimum recycling levels are met by the end of this calendar year, then Module 6 would have capacity for 12 years and 4 months, an 8-month reduction in operational life. We'll continue to update you guys as this progresses and we get further aerials and better trends, and obviously as diversion and these 1383 goals are met, we have hope that this could extend back up to that 13-year mark. But we need to make sure that we're obviously planning for future expansion as it's needed. So we'll be keeping an eye on this throughout the quarters. Jumping over to odors, just wanted to make a side note that it seems like the misting system seems to be effective during high odor risk time periods. So when we get our odor risk analysis for the day, it lets us know when we have high odor risk hours, and that misting system is primarily operated during those times, and qualitatively seems to be helping. But we are continuing to work with FCC regarding intermittent odors from the compost and the water quality ponds to ensure that all the operational protocols are followed, set forth in the site-wide odor plan. And if you have any questions, I would be happy to answer.
Any questions from the board?
More of a comment than a question. The reduced useful life in Module 6 is like a humongous red flag. 27 potential 20% loss in capacity is kind of a concern. So, you've already daylighted it, but I'm going to look at FCC with my red flag, because we need to get back to what the useful life of it is, because we only have so much space. So, thanks.
Yeah, a couple of things. Thanks for sending out the email about the odor complaint and how that was handled. As came in tonight, is that only Tony and John were out there with me? Is that the type of odor, or is that there was a different odor out there tonight? It didn't smell like it was coming from a pond, but yeah.
I didn't smell that, but it could be
But
from the
you're here all the
compost.
time, so,
I don't know if anybody else.
I would
no,
say, I smelled it, and I would say that's kind of normal.
Right, that's a landfill, not a pond, kind of, okay, yeah.
I walked up and went, wow, not bad.
Not bad.
Yeah,
right,
no,
right,
no,
yeah.
thanks, I appreciate that. Couple more questions. On the liner investigation, I assume the water board is the Central Valley Regional Water Quality Control Board.
Correct.
Have they issued a notice of violation to who did they?
No, so they
have
actu-
and who's it to?
Yeah, so the permitting division actually sent an order over that kind of just outlines how they would like this addressed. It's not a violation, but gave a timeline and certain requirements that we were given just to monitor it and make sure it doesn't turn into something that would become a violation. They've been super cooperative in this effort. So I think the process is going actually really well, and they're really been understanding on us wanting to get this closed out and move on so that we can operate Module 6 in its entire capacity.
And that's, I was looking at the liner, so are you addressing the liner in my quote?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this is specifically for that liner issue.
Yeah, and I don't know about the rest of the board, but if there's any, the regional board can, they can be collaborative, and then they can send you a letter that says it's $10,000 a day, right?
Correct.
So,
And we're adamantly making sure that second part doesn't happen.
okay. And then this is just me not having come up to speed on everything, but in the MRF improvements, it says, as the project scope comes to close. What's the project scope? What does that mean?
The actual scope of the MRF expansion, so more the actual construction components like the odor control, the scale houses, which are now complete, just some of the final elements of the scope of the MRF expansion agreement. There's a third agreement for FCC that was just on the MRF expansion.
So the things that John was asking about a little earlier, or different?
Paper dryers.
Yeah, stuff like the paper dryers, the remaining fire suppression stuff, yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any other questions? Okay, at this,
I have a random
sure,
one.
okay.
So you can get back to me. I told this group of people, probably not, but you know how odors don't always come from the facility? They come from ag and maybe poultry, right? And there's some poultry out this way. And somebody said, is there any way to like mitigate the poultry smell? I said, well, it's ag. You can't actually tell the ag producers that they have to mitigate their smell. But are there ways to actually, we couldn't necessarily use our local dollars to do that, or maybe we could. Are there ways to work with ag to mitigate smell like that we could go after grant funding or something? And I wonder about that because that smell is what people think is local. It's from us and it's not, and they're not required. They have an absolute use or a right to use their property for ag. But is there, I don't know, are there grants out there? Are there ways to work with those local ag folks to see if we could address the odors? I'm just asking because maybe there's an opportunity to do that. I had never thought about it. And it came up with a group of realtors this afternoon.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure because we definitely talk with the air board as much as possible, especially when odors are not coming from our facility, but are attributed to our facility. Obviously, ag has a little bit more of a wider, a longer leash than we do, and they would probably be the ones to ask about if there's any, I don't know if you're thinking of a partnership or collaboration with us and them, but
There might be some that we can look into with the EPA or with different, legislative, different bodies, different agencies. So we can look into it and get back to you. There very well could be. We would then have to convince the ag people to implement the,
It's worth looking into.
Yeah,
Why not?
yeah.
When somebody brought it up, I thought, we can't mandate anyone, but maybe there's dollars out there, who knows?
And a lot of their best management practices and operational considerations are similar to ours, not spreading compost or, in their case, manure during high odorous events like what we're forecasting, changing up to, being a little more aware of the forecasting and current weather conditions that could help as well. And we'd welcome to share that data too, that we generate on site for our region.
Was that, sorry,
No, go.
was the event you're talking about, was that actual poultry or was it fertilizer on our property across the street?
I'm just talking in general. I'm not
Yeah.
talking about one.
Yeah, I know, that one was particularly pungent. But that one wasn't, that was a fertilizer and it was across the street on the property we own, right?
From the poultry farm.
Chicken manure.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, I'll comment on it some other day.
All right. At this time, I just want to open it up for public comment on any of the item 6 items, if anybody has a comment. All right, not seeing anyone, we'll move on to our consent agenda. Would anybody like to pull anything off the consent agenda? Okay, if I could get a motion then on the consent agenda. What's that? Oh, okay. All right. Would anybody in the public like to take anything off the consent agenda? No. Okay,
I'll move approval.
thank you.
I'll second.
All right, motion made by Director Landon, second by Director Hoderschelt. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay. Next item is item 8, fiscal year 2026-27 budget.
Before I turn it over to Stephen to present the budget, I just want to acknowledge staff at this table and some that aren't, led by Eric and Stephen, really putting this budget together from a departmental level, easier to follow, easier to understand, and it also, clearly lays out what our goals and objectives are. And also just a reminder that most of these projects that are in this budget will still come before your board for approval down the road, because some of them are high dollar amounts. So you will get a chance to look at those in further detail when we present them to you. So turn it over to Stephen.
Okay, so we have prepared some slides for this budget item, and I believe, my understanding is it's on your guys' screen so you guys can see it, if not up there. This is the fiscal year 26-27 proposed budget. And the objectives of this presentation today is to summarize what's already been given to you guys in a 84 page document surrounding our budget. I want to summarize and just provide some information to revenue, capital projects, operating expenses, fund balance. And something to keep in mind here with this is that this budget reflects no tip fee increases. So keep that in mind as we go through. So first, let's take a look here at the revenue. I have the column for fiscal year 27 bolded for the budgets that we are anticipating for this. And you'll notice in the column right before that is the estimated actuals. That's what we're estimating for this year in revenue. And so you will see for this year, we're looking at about 56.8 million. And for next year, we're anticipating a slight decline of about 1 million, down to 55.8. And that's largely due to the grant revenue here. You notice we had the CalRecycle Organics grant reimbursement, which was approximately 2.9 million in this year, and we have, and that's concluding. So we will not have that in fiscal year 2027. A couple items of note also within the revenue is the rent and royalties. We're estimating that will go up about 1.3 million, and that is due to two factors. One, the new landfill gas to energy use agreement, and two, the leasing of a 6-acre portion of the western property to Recology. Also, we are anticipating an increase in miscellaneous revenue, of about 830,000. And that is going to be related to liquidated damages from delays in completing construction of the facility improvements. All right, so moving on from revenue. Well, actually, one last thing on the revenue slide here. So the tip fee revenue obviously is the largest piece of this. It's 50 million, and that's just going to, we're projecting that it'll only go down just slightly. So we're at 51 million this year and just under 51 million next year. But I wanted to take a look at how we came up with this number since it is so significant. To break it down, the tip fee revenue, we have many different revenue streams, including MSW, C&D, green waste, and on down the line here. And these revenue streams are best estimated using tonnage. So we've looked at the tonnage, we've looked at the historical trends, we've put together some graphs, and it is largely in the document that we have provided to you. And based on those trends and sometimes external factors, we come up with a growth factor. And this growth factor is what we use to determine how much revenue we can anticipate for each revenue stream. One thing I'll point out to you here is in the first two items, MSW revenue, you may notice it definitely draws my eye, is we have 32 million this year, and we're projecting just for next year just under 30 million, but we have a growth factor of 0.6%. This is due to the fact that we have a couple, we have some yardage, 92,000 to be exact, that we're anticipating that's going to be transferred from MSW revenue into C&D revenue. So you'll notice an increase of about 2.3 million in the C&D and a decrease in the MSW revenue by about 2.3 million. The overall revenue is the same, but that's just a little extra information for you there. So the growth factors are all on the side there, and that's how we take and we use those against the tonnage to project the revenue. So that's our tip fee revenue, and we will have a time for questions at the end too. Or if there's a burning question, we can go over it now. But okay. All right. So next slide, capital projects. We're looking at about 13 million here next year. I have them in descending order from the largest on down. The largest two projects we're looking at is the Western Property Development, followed by the Western Property Permitting. Combined, those are about a little over 8 million. We've also, we have the biofiltro leachate pretreatment system, 1.7 million. We went over that in our February meeting with you. Some of that could potentially be done this year, so that could be slightly less than 1.7 million. So I just thought I'd bring that up to you. It could be a little under that. And then on down the list here, and the last of which is the administrative offices parking lot expansion. Probably the capital project that impacts me the most in administration. Sometimes coming back from lunch, there's no parking, so it would be nice to see that. And in the board packet or in the budget packet we provided to you, we do kind of go into detail in a lot of these projects, and one of the details on this project is the administrative office's expansion is we are going to use as much internal labor as we can to help facilitate that and keep the costs, the additional costs as low as possible. Next slide is the operating expenses and debt service. This total for fiscal year 27 is going to be about 53,663,000, and it's an increase over the previous over this year. And the largest item on this is going to be the MRF and landfill operations. This is going to go up to about 34 million, and this is the fees with or this expense item is largely FCC and the fees that we're paying them to operate the MRF and the landfill. And the increase that you're seeing here is largely attributed to the contractual cost of living adjustments to both operating agreements for both the MRF and the landfill. In the MRF, we're contracted to increase by 3.85%, and in the landfill, it's expected to increase by about 5%. Additionally, other factors contributing to the increase in this line item are less material is anticipated to be sent directly to the landfill for burial and instead be processed at the MRF, which results in a net cost increase to this line item for WAMA. The next item, debt service. Sure. Yeah, go ahead.
You fell on the slide. I'll let you finish this slide.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so debt service is the next largest item that we have. It's basically just principal and interest on our bonds, not too much gray area or any area for really budgeting. Right after that is followed WAMA labor. This is we're budgeting to increase here. This includes a couple new hires, an outreach coordinator, assistant engineer, a second utility service worker, and taking an accounting assistant from full-time to part-time. This increase also includes COLA, merit increases, and other benefits as stated in the MOU with Placer County unions. Professional services were increasing by about 800,000, and this is the result of biofilter operations, which is going to be about 168,000, and also odor evaluations that we're going to be doing next year in the amount of 250,000. And we're also reclassing some items that were previously in advertising up into professional services in the amount of 275,000. So that also addresses the decrease in the next item of advertising. We're bringing that down to just 200,000. And the remaining items here are relatively consistent with fiscal year 26. But our overall operating expense and debt service expense for the year, for next year, we're projecting to be 53,663,000.
We'll pause
yeah.
there for
Yeah.
any questions. Director Hodeschelt.
And my question was on labor, you answered it, but now I have another different question. So I'm trying to track with professional services. Professional services, so the budget was 3.8, we haven't gotten to 3.8. And we're gonna go to, okay. I mean, that 26.9 or 27% looks high because we've been cost efficient, right? So it's not really
Yeah.
that big of an increase, but.
Yeah, over budget, it's not that big of an increase
So-
per se. That's true.
Why,
Yeah.
well, this is what happens when you let me linger. Why is our 27 budget not more in line with our 26 actuals?
You mean, well, it's increased by about 3 million, you mean? So our budget next year is 53 million versus 50 million?
Oh, I'm sorry.
No,
So
just
under
on the-
professional services.
Oh, professional services.
We budgeted 3.8, we've only spent 3, but then we're gonna go back to 3.8?
Okay, sure. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of times our professional services are generally consultants, whether that's engineering or other related tasks. So they're kind of tied to capital projects, which ebb and flow. This last year we had the MRF project going, and so there wasn't a lot of professional services being done for other various capital improvement projects. But given the nature of some of the upcoming capital projects, we have some increased professional services costs with that.
So, I'm just good character. When I do my budget, I estimate, but then some of the things are outside my control and don't materialize. So I assume that for 27, that's an estimate.
Yes.
And, you know, it
Correct.
may look more like 26.
Correct,
right?
correct.
Thank you.
So WATMA labor, internal and external, county and non-county.
That's
Combined.
correct, yeah.
Okay. And then on the professional services, the 3.8, which looks the same, but you said you moved 200,000 or 300,000 for advertising up into that line item?
Yeah, from the fiscal year 27 budget. So you notice advertising is only 200,000 for next year.
Right.
But if you look at, our advertising budget for 26, it was about 500,000.
Right.
So,
My question is, what did you move from advertising to professional services?
What did we move up into there? Public affairs.
That was the
let me take a
website.
Yeah, web.
Printing and postage.
Yeah, within the advertising. Yeah, I believe it. Yeah, it was a public affairs budget. There was a website design.
And the videographer, Magma.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Anything that's actually a professional services and not really advertising, we wanted to categorize that better in professional services.
Okay. Okay. Other expenses. It's 24% up from what you budgeted last year. What's going on there?
Well, we wanted to bring it up in line closer to what was in our actuals. So So yeah, I mean, we didn't budget probably all those categories in tune, but let me take a closer look and see if I can answer your question, see if there's something here. So your question more is like why we budgeted,
What's in other?
I think your question is the variance to budget for 26 to 27?
I mean, essentially, you've got this extra 110, 112,000 that you're adding, that you spent this, or will spend this year and want to spend next year. I'm just wondering what that is.
These other categories include rents and leases on equipment, trainings, maintenance on buildings. Yeah, it's various categories: laboratory supplies, professional dues and memberships, printing, other office, office and other supplies. There's quite a few of them in here. If you look at page, let's see, what page is this? Page 36, and it'll outline more.
It'll provide all those line items.
Yeah, it'll have all the items that would be the entire operating expense budget.
What page did you say?
36.
36 the PDF or 36?
36. So the budget
Yeah.
packet,
Yeah, I got it.
page 36.
Okay, now I got it. I have to get it on my screen so I can blow it up because there's no way I'm reading that fine print.
I brought my glasses.
I know. I'm in denial still.
Me too.
Okay, so what is the,
So yeah, there's a lot of different items that make up the other.
does it have a standard prefix? No. Okay.
Yeah, it's just, it's a lot of different items. So it's going to be clothing. So the
Does it
first.
basically start with 52,580 and go down? Is that it? No.
No,
What is there?
it's going to
Oh,
be, yeah, I can tell you. So clothing and personnel, 52030, communication services expense, food, household expense, jump over insurance. Insurance is going to be with the taxes, utilities,
Yeah,
insurance. Yeah.
Yeah, there's just not any, they're not, this thing isn't subcategorized into the, that might be a useful note in the future, that this goes to this. So if you're gonna make these broad categories for budgeting, it'd be nice if the individual ones built into it. Because you're jumping around, and there's no way for me to have looked at this and known for sure what you were putting in that category because
Okay.
they weren't subcategorized.
Yeah.
Without
Yeah.
overhauling your chart of accounts, but some way of bundling them so I could.
For sure, yeah, I can definitely color code them for you. I actually have a color coded page right here.
Oh, you have the cheat sheet.
That I can maybe give to you, but I was trying to make it simpler. But yeah, it looks like you would like more detail, so I can provide that.
Yeah, but which one of these goes into which one of those? So there's random ones of this that goes into the one I was asking about, and it's trying to figure, yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, I'll provide this to you after. So you can,
Any other questions? Director Gore, any questions on that? Okay, all right, carry on.
okay. All right, so the last slide here is just, what are we looking at with the amount of revenue we're projecting, the capital asset projects we want to do, and along with the operating expenses and debt service. That's going to use some reserves to the tune of about 11 million. Not necessarily here, but within the budget packet, you will see that we are projecting our reserves to go to about 43 million at the end of this year. And after the 11 million that we're going to be using here, we'll be left with about 32 million at the end of next fiscal year. Yeah, we've gone through some of the questions, but I don't know if there's any more questions.
So, in one of your earlier slides, I think you said you used liquidated damages to, is that right?
Yeah.
Because those are known.
I'm sorry?
Those are being accrued right now. So, yeah.
That 32 million surplus is not, any of that is not liquidated damages, that's just,
The 32 million is the result of basically our revenue less all the expenses and capital assets that we're going to have this year. So the 11 million is what we're projecting to use from our reserves. The liquidated damages are related to the facility, the delays in the facility improvements.
thank you, because I thought I heard you say even after we use that 11 million, we would have 32 million in reserves. Did I hear that correctly?
Yes, yeah, so we will have 32 million left.
But none of that is none of that 32 is liquidated damages. Or maybe it is, I don't know.
Well, it's all, yeah, it's all part of like, you know, so like we have revenue less the expenses, you know, is giving us the 11 million that we're projecting to like have usage of. So it would be in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's part of our revenue, so.
Any questions in general on the budget?
I don't think I have another, I may end up having another question, but just wanted to make a comment and say this is vastly improved, I feel like, since last year. I really liked the format of it. I would agree with Director Reedy, though, on the, just like having it maybe, if there was a way to bucket it so that you could see, oh, other expenses is all these things, instead of having, that would be super helpful.
Yeah.
But in general, I would say this was excellent. I really thought it was easy to understand, broken down really well, and thought it was a great job, so no question yet.
Director Reedy.
Okay, so real quick for historic purposes, so we're the reserve. So July of 26, July 1st, 26, around 43 million is what we're estimating it to be.
Yeah.
And then July of 27, June 30th, 27, 32. What was it a year ago in July 1st of 25?
Shoot, I don't know. Do you guys have that? Okay.
It was
Okay.
pretty
And then
close to-
the 1.5 million liquidated damages, right, that we're budgeting for. So that isn't captured, but it's accruing and we imagine that we will capture it.
It's, yeah, so it's related to the delays on the improvements. So that's one, so some of the, we do anticipate possibly more liquidated damages,
Yeah,
but we're not gonna.
those are built
count
into
those
the
in the budget.
budget because they're known, and nothing additional.
Right. Okay. So basically what you think is going to accrue through the end of this fiscal year kind of thing? Like through
Correct.
June of
Yeah.
20?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And then I forgot to ask you during your report about the Amoresco contract and the FCC renegotiation contract. Neither one of those was in your report, and I don't want to shoehorn that question that I should have asked you
Next
before.
month, those will be brought for review and hopefully approval in June, both of those items. Yeah.
And I want to echo Director Landon about the format and the process. I think I said that last time, that it was much improved, and I really appreciate it. And when you find that number, let me know.
I found it. It is 36,465,000 and change.
Okay, thank you.
Director Gore.
So just to clarify, right, we had 36 million in the overall fund balance is correct? That's what,
In
reserves, that's what I meant,
Yes.
in the reserves.
At the end of 24,
And then we're
25.
planning to spend about, 9 million. 9 million or 11? 11 million,
At
excuse me.
11, yeah.
Right, which I think actually, I want to say, I think it's really good that we're spending those dollars to address all of these issues. And I think what we did in the past is we did a really good job of keeping rates down, but didn't do a very good job of keeping the facility up, invested in over time to keep the facilities up. And so now we're addressing some issues that have to be upgraded. So I just think this is really good. And then as we're continuing to look at, I would anticipate that we'll have some sort of capital improvement plan looking out into the future, so that
We will.
always planning for the future. But I think it's definitely worth spending those dollars now. And then it does bring up the question of for me, the CASP. And right, when do we work with FCC to decide, are we going to expand that footprint so that we can process more of the?
We did have a good meeting today with some of the FCC staff, and they have some ideas on how to use the existing footprint and handle all the capacity. There's some challenges that we might have to work through with the water board, so Ryan will be dealing with that. So we are actively trying to use the footprint that we have, but we do know we will need to expand that. So that will be part of the capital improvement plan.
Okay,
Yeah.
great, thank you.
I just want to ask for the general manager, just when we're thinking about staffing going forward, and we're thinking about managing our costs to remain a good option for our members for tipping fees, how are you seeing the WAPMA staff? Like, are there places maybe where we could
Yeah.
trim a bit?
Yeah, I think I've been looking at that, and also going to come up with a staffing plan, you know, on a 3-year horizon. And I think we're going through a somewhat large increase right now and bringing on more outside, you know, work, which is great because overall it saves us money. But we want to make sure we're operating, you know, we're fine tuned. We don't want to have excess. So, you know, we may see a reduction in that staffing. I don't anticipate it going higher than it is right now. So I'm going to be kind of doing some analysis on what that looks like.
Any other questions?
Yeah, actually, so I was listening to a podcast, and right before the podcast started, there was an advertisement for Placer Recycles. Is that us?
Yes.
Okay. I was just gonna look it up, right? Because it had all the features, one big band and all that stuff, so, okay, thanks.
At this point, why don't we open it up for public comment? Okay. All right, and hearing no public comment, Director Hoderschelt.
Yeah, I'll approve the fiscal year I'll recommend approval of the fiscal 26-27 budget and determine that the recommended action is not a project pursuant to the California Environmental Quality Act Guidelines, Section 15378.
I'll second and just say how pleased I am that it's great that we're not increasing tipping fees, so yay. That's wonderful. It really is great, and it's great that we've made a lot of progress and we're reinvesting, right, in some of the capital projects we need, so well done.
Right.
That
And
was in
I'll-
my motion.
Yeah. I'll echo that as well, and, you know, that's good news for our member agencies. We got with City of Rockland sent out a little notice that we're going up by like 1.5%, which is probably the smallest we've gone up in a long time, so appreciate that. Okay, all those in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, the motion passes unanimously. Next item is reports from directors. Are there any reports from directors? Director Reedy.
Yep,
He's
sorry.
the chatterbox.
Sorry.
tonight, Yes.
A note about the event from yesterday. One of the observations from the last 2 years, and this is something to like put on your radar that when we have a lighter agenda, maybe it's a good board discussion. One of the things that I noticed, and I'd love your input as well, but I don't feel that the facility is able to capture those participants in the way that it needs to be. Some of them need a place to site. We would be years away from giving them a place to site. Some of them are kind of in startup mode where some partnership with some venture capital would actually activate what they're doing. And some of them are smaller that are just really good feel-good projects that are making meaningful differences, but their usage is not measured in tons. It's much smaller. And I think it'd be interesting to find out whether we as a board or organization want to do more to capture these innovators. Just because so far we have not been able to really, we've been partnering and talking to many of them over the years we've been doing this competition, but we've not been able to execute on any of them and actually divert any streams to any of them yet. And I think that's an opportunity for us to maybe decide whether it's a priority for us. Maybe we have that conversation in a future agenda that's lighter, that I'd be interested to see whether or not something we want to focus on to make better use of all these contacts that we're making and then actually be more effective in executing on the goal. So.
I agree.
Thank you.
I agree.
This is a Rockland report. Just want to invite everybody to our Memorial Day event at the Rockland Cemetery on Memorial Day at 11 a.m. And everybody's favorite event of the year, the Rockland Brew Fest on June 6th. It falls 4 days after the election, so hey, you know, if you need to let loose, let me know. Exactly. So, all right, upcoming agenda items.
Well, Well, you just gave one.
Sorry.
I
think that's
a good idea.
Okay.
May I ask a quick question? So the placer.
Yes, I do have Brewfest tickets. if
Yes,
that's- sorry.
placer recycle, right? So is that how we're sort of referring to ourselves as, instead of Western Placer Waste Management Authority? I remember we had that conversation a long time ago about another way, because WAPNA, nobody knows what WAPNA is. Is that sort of the term we're utilizing? I think it'd be helpful for us to know.
So it's in collaboration with the member agencies, and we work together to have a unified message. And so it isn't a renaming or rebranding of this agency,
Right.
but it is a way to communicate clearly to the community from all the agencies what we do here.
Great, that is helpful to understand. Thank you, Eric.
Yeah, I saw an ad in a movie theater and actually was confused for a split second. Because at the very end, in very small print,
WAPMA.
WAPMA. I'm like,
It's,
So I'm not entirely sure that we're not trying to rebrand without actually officially doing it, because the branding is a little confusing on the one that I saw.
Mr. Halden, Chair Halden,
Yes.
I heard off the record that you're retiring
For my day job,
from your day job.
not this job. Yes, yeah.
If you look behind you, that says 1978, so in 2 years, WAPMA will be 50.
Yes.
You should, would it be valuable for this group, whoever is sitting in it,
Yeah.
to plan for a 50th anniversary with you leading that charge as
Sure.
a professional?
You know, we've heard of A250. We'll
Yeah.
make this W50, you know, so, yeah. Okay. All right, great. All right, well, with that, I think that's it. So we'll adjourn.